Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's almost more than a month I joined the ship and there has not been any long video after that, after joining. Because nowadays I am focusing more on shorts because it's easy to connect with people and I can finish whatever things I want to say in 1 minute, and it has more reach, and also it takes less data to upload one short videos. So for all these reasons I have been focusing more on shorts. But in this video, I'm going to explain about the ETO exams which took place on the 19th February. I'm going to discuss the question and answers because there are a lot of guys who are looking for answers for the exams taking place for the ETO COC. As I have been making videos from last 2 months, I discussed the question paper for the December 2023, January 2024, and in this video, I will be talking about the February 2024 question paper. The question paper has been repeating again, same what I have told in other videos. Questions are repeating all the questions. There has been not been a single new questions. All are very easy. A lot of people are telling that the pattern has changed. They are asking new questions, all these things. But believe me, you look at the question paper from last one year. There has not been a single new question. All the questions are repeating. Hardly one or two questions will be extra new questions in the full 1 year. But that's also you have options for the questions. So exams are again, it's easy. You can, if you prepare for 1 month, it's easy to crack. So without wasting any time, let us start the discussion for this video. So this paper consists of total 3 hours and 100 mark question. There are total 3 sections in this paper. Each section has 3 questions and you have to attempt only 2 questions in each section. So total 6 questions and 100 marks. So section 1, question number 1. This question was also asked in December 2023, and I have already made a video on the question answer discussion for the December 2023 where you can find the answer of this question. You can see question number 1 and 2. This both are from the induction motor, only 3-phase induction motor. So induction motor chapter is very important for the written exam of ETO. You can also find the answer in my notes, which is at page number 5. Rahul, page number 5. If I take you to my notes, I will just open my notes and take you to page number 5. See the same question I have prepared when I was preparing for the exam. Compare method of speed regulation of three-phase induction motor, rotor resistance, cascade system, and pole changing. Give examples. So you can all refer to my notes answer and also in the video of the 2023 December. So directly let us move to the next question. Question number 2. With reference to a 3-speed AC cage motor driven cargo winch, sketch a circuit diagram for pole change motor. Describe how speed change and braking are achieved. You can find answer of this question in page 27 of my note. So I will take you to my note, page 27. So guys, this is only a application of three-phase induction motor, how the speed change is taking place in a motor driven cargo winch. So for understanding speed change, first you have to understand that N is speed 120 F by P. This all of you must be aware. So changing poles, we can change the speed of any motor. So let's first look at the diagram, how the things are happening. You can see there is windings here, one winding here, one winding here, two motor. Both the motor is connected through a single shaft. Now when the motor has to run for a low speed, so this winding we are using, this winding is for it's of 24 poles. So number of poles is high, that means speed is low, that is 120 F by P. So higher the number of poles, the lower will be the speed. So for low speeds, only this contactor will be made. So this will be running at very low speed, that is 24 poles. Now if we want to use medium speed, on medium speed, so for this contactor will be made. That means you look at the diagram, this connected here, this connected here, and this connected here. That means you look at this part, this winding and this winding, these three windings are connected in series. When this is operating on the medium speed, when it has to operate for the high speed, these two contacts has to made this one. Now look how the circuit will be completed. From here this comes here and this comes here, and now this is completing here. So now in this case, these windings, they are connected in parallel. So this gives lower poles, lower number of poles, so higher number of speed. So different contacts will be made for different speed performance. Now I have explained the basic fundamental how this is happening, and rest you can read the lines and understand what is happening and how you have to write in the exam. Once you know the principle of working,
After that, you can also write in your own words like three-speed pole changing winch motor employ dual motor in which one cage rotor operating in a stator wound for 24 poles gives a low speed, whereas other cage rotor operating in a pole amplitude modulated stator wound for say 8 poles to give medium speed and 4 poles to give high speeds. Thus, changing the number of poles will change the speed of the winch motor. Low speed 24 volt stator winding has single winding per phase, and for low speed operating, stator contactor closes and provides power supply to windings, whereas all other contactors are kept open. For medium and high speed operation, the pole amplitude modulation stator has two windings in each phase with a center tap. One stator contactor gives such that phase windings are in series and three phase windings are in delta, which makes 8 poles and medium operation. For high speed, another two contactors come on such that phase windings are in parallel and 8 phase windings are in star, which makes 4 poles. For reversing, two phase windings are interchanged by other contactors. Now, how the braking of winch motor is taking place. For a three phase 50 Hz supply, speed of induction motor at 4 pole would be 1400 rpm, 8 poles it will be 700 rpm, and at 24 poles it will be 200 rpm. Slow speed is used for braking and decking, medium speed is used for handling heavy loads, and high speed for normal loads. Lowering speeds are slightly higher than the lifting as speed of an induction motor rises slightly when changing over from motoring to regeneration. For braking winch motor, disc operated electromagnetic brakes are employed. The disc brake in DC operated through selenium cell rectifier and is provided with a hand release so that loads may be released under control in case of power failure. This is fail safe. Now, when switching back to off position, the 24 pole step is brought in before the brake is applied, so that when braking heavy loads, wear on magnetic brake is minimum. So when the motor is running at high speed, that time the number of pole is using is 4. Now, if you want to brake the motor, we'll we'll bring the 24 pole step in use because 24 pole has less speed. So instead of applying mechanical brake, we are applying electronic brake. That is, we are bringing 24 pole motor into action so that the wear on the magnetic brake is minimum. However, for luffing and sleeving operation, sometimes dynamic braking is employed before magnetic brakes are used. In dynamic braking, DC supply is injected into a stator winding just prior to switching off. This has effect producing a static field in stator. Rotation of motor induces EMF in rotor winding, and interaction of stator field and rotor current produces a torque which opposes rotary braking power being dissipated in form of heat. Let's move on to the next question. Now, question number 3. With reference to preferential tripping in a marine electrical distribution system, with aid of a sketch, describe a typical arrangement to provide three stage of tripping in an instantaneous protection against short circuit. State why this protection is required. You can find answer of this question in MET 66 page number. So to answer this question, you have the diagram here, you have the explanation here. That's all. You just by heart the diagram, practice one or two times, you can remember and write this explanation. So those are working in this field, you must be aware what are the non-essential trips and at what stages 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and 15 seconds. So just explain about the non-essential trips, and this is the mechanical one. Nowadays these are not used on the ship, only electrical electronics current transformers relays are used for tripping purpose. This may be old one, but for exam purpose just draw this diagram and write this answer. Also you can refer to some other books, maybe internet or chat gpt, to get more theoretical answer to this. I will show you one. So this is one explanation I got from chat gpt. You can just read the theory part about what is overcurrent protection. Stage 1 long time delay, stage 2 short time delay, stage 3 instantaneous protection, current transformer, logic and coordination, circuit breakers. All these are theory parts you can write, you can include in your answers. Now let's move on to section 2, question number 4a. This question was asked in December 2023. I have explained in my video of December 2023 what are the factors which determines the synchronous speed of a motor. Move on to question number B. A total load of 8000 kilowatt at 0.8 power factor is supplied by two alternators in parallel. One alternator supplies 6000 kilowatt at 0.9 power factor. Find the kVA rating of other alternator and power factor. This is very easy question. It's of 10 marks. Just 5 minutes you can answer this question. This question will take 5 to 7 minutes to write the theory part, and this for 5 minutes. You can answer this question in 10 minutes, will be easy. Answer you will find at Rahul, page number 48. Let's move on to page number 48. See the same question. This was also asked in April 2023, and I have prepared all these questions when I was preparing. So all these questions are repeating only. So total load is 8000 kilowatt at 0.8 power factor. Now you know the kilowatt, you know the power factor. So what you can find out from this? You can find the kVA. kVA will be kilowatt by power factor, because what is power factor? It's equal to kilowatt by kVA. Now you know these two parts, so you can easily calculate this part kVA. So kVA we got is 10,000 kVA. Now total kVAR, this is reactive power you can find. You know, uh, kVA is root of kilowatt square plus kVAR square. So from this we can find the kVAR. 10,000 square minus 8,000 square, this under root, we are getting 6,000 kVAR. So this is our total requirement: 8,000 kilowatt requirement, 6,000 reactive power requirement, and 10,000 kVA total. So now let's see how much generator A is supplying. Generator A is supplying 6,000 kilowatt at 0.9 power factor. So out of total 8,000 kilowatt, 6,000 is provided by the generator number A at power factor 0.9. So now calculate how much kVA is supplied by A. We'll use the same formula, this one. So we are getting 6.6 mega VA. Now we can also find kVAR supplied by A using the same formula. We are getting 2.74 mega AVAR. Now we can simply write how much the generator B is supplying. So kilowatt, already we can know 8,000 is requirement, 6,000 is supplied by A, so 2,000 will be supplied by B. Now total kVAR supplied by B is, total requirement is 6,000, and A is supplying how much? 2.74. So how much B will be supplying? Just minus 3.26 MVAR. Now what is the total kVA B is supplying? So we'll add this 2 with, using this formula we are getting 3.82. Now what is the power factor? This is kilowatt and this is kVA. We are getting power factor here. So this is a simple, very simple question. Only using the formula of power factor is equal to kilowatt by kVA, you can get 10 marks in this. Let's move on to next question. Question number 5a. List the factors that determine the starting torque of a three-phase induction motor. How does the torque generally compare with the value of rated torque? This question was asked in February 2023. Answer is available on my notes, page 74. Rahul. Let's move on to that. So again, this is only a theory part of three-phase induction motor about torque and all. You can read the answer. Torque of a three-phase induction motor depends on the other factors. It's given point 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to read all these things. You can read from my notes only and write. This only a three part you must be studying from your college time only. So it's a simple question. You can refer these and write your answers. Let's move to question number 5b. This question was also asked in July 2023 and January 2024. This is the month in which I gave my exam, July 2023. And since you can find the answer in my notes, Rahul 74 page, you can know I had already prepared for this question before writing exam. So I easily answered this in my exam. Now I explained this question in January 2024 answer discussion. Already the video is there. If you have not watched, you can go and watch from there. You will get the answer of this explanation. Full solution of this numerical you can find. So we will move to the next question. With the aid of delta and star connection diagram, state the basic equation from which delta star and star delta conversion equation can be derived. The similar question was asked in July 2023, same month in which I have given my exam, but I did not attempt this question. I had attempted other two questions, other two numericals. The answer is already there in page number 76 of my notes. Again, this is a theory question only from our college time. This is the star connection. This is a delta connection. What is the relation between voltage and the current? And few explanation how it is connected and all these things. It's a simple. You can just read, draw this diagram, and explain something about this. We'll move to the numerical part of this. Three batteries A, B, C have their negative terminals connected together. Between positive terminals A and B, there is a resistance of 0.5 ohms. Between B and C, there is a resistance of 0.3 ohms. Battery A is 1.105 volt, battery 2 is 100 volt, and battery is C is 95 volt, and their internal resistance is given. Determine the current values in two resistors and power dissipated by them. So answer is available in page 76 of my notes. We'll go to the page 76. This is answered. First, draw the diagram what is given in the question. Three batteries are given: 105 volt, 100 volt, and 95 volt. And what is given? The negative terminal of all three batteries are connected together. So we are connecting the three terminals here. Now this is the internal resistance: 0.25 of this battery, 0.2 of this battery, and 0.25 of this battery. This is the internal resistance. And what is given? There is two resistance. 0.5 resistance is connected between battery A and B, and 0.3 ohm is connected between battery B and C. So here we got the simple diagram. Now we can simply apply current Kirchhoff's law in this: current I1 here and current I2 here, and equate the both equations. We will simply get the answer. So let's apply the current Kirchhoff's law in loop 1. So now we start from here. So 105 minus this is 0.25. So 0.25 into I1 minus 0.5 I1, now going downward here, minus 0.2 into I1 minus I2, because current I1 is coming here and current I2, this is going upward. So resultant is I1 minus I2 minus 100 is equal to 0. Solving this equation is same as the first written here. Similarly, writing equation in loop 2 will give this equation, and simplifying these two equations we'll get equation number 1 here, equation number 2 here. We'll solve these two equations and we'll get value of I1 and I2, 7.06 and 8.55. The question asks is power in 0.5 ohm resistor. So power formula we already know, I square into R. So I1 is 7.06. So 7.06 square into 0.5. That is this resistance. We are getting as 24.9 watts. And power in 0.3 ohm resistors, 8.55 square into 0.3. We are getting as 21.9 watts. This is also a simple question from our college time only. The current, voltage, and power equations we have to solve and get the answer. Now we have come to the last section of this question paper, section 3, question number 7. What is meant by control and management of ships ballast water and its sediments? Why is this term so significant with reference to shipping in recent times? All must be aware what is ballast water and sediments, and why the management of ballast water is very very important, and how ETOs are related to this. So first start by saying what is ballast water and why it is needed, how it helps the ships when this ship is sailing without any cargo, or how it is helping in navigation and stability of the ships. Now start by quoting what are the problems of ballast water, how it can affect the environment if it is discharged without treatment, and what are the different methods of treatment. Like ballast water treatment system is a very important job of ETOs to manage all those things. So there can be electrolysis process or the chemical or the UV lamps, whatever types of ballast water, you can write and you can explain few lines about each and what are the advantage and disadvantage of everything. So simply just write your question in the chat GPT and you get the answer. The control and management of ship ballast water sediment refers to systematic handling, treatment, monitoring of water taken on board vessel to ensure stability and balance during different phases of their operation. This process is critical for the safe and efficient navigation of ships, but its significance has grown markedly in recent times due to environmental concerns related to unintentional transfer of aquatic organisms and pathogens between different regions. Ballast water necessity and environmental challenge. Ballast water serves as a counterbalance to maintain ship's stability, particularly when it is not fully loaded with cargo. Ships take on ballast water in one location and discharge it in other as they load and unload cargo. However, this practice has unintended consequences as the water often contains a diverse array of marine life, including bacteria, algae, plankton, and even small fishes and invertebrates. So, the unintentional transfer of these organisms poses significant environmental challenges. When released into new ecosystem, these non-native species can become invasive, outcompeting local species disrupting ecosystem and causing economical and ecological harm. This phenomena is a consequence of global nature of shipping as vessels traverse oceans and seas, facilitating the movement of organisms from one part of the world to another. What are the environmental implications and global concerns? The significance of controlling and managing ballast water and sediments is underscored by potential ecological and economic consequences of invasive species introduction. Aquatic invasive species can lead to loss of biodiversity, alter food webs, damage fisheries, and aquaculture operations. In some instances, they can even impact human health through transmission of disease. As international trade and shipping have expanded in recent decades, volume of ballast water being transported across the globe has also increased, intensifying the risk of spreading invasive species. This heightened interconnectedness of ecosystem has made the control and management of ballast water an urgent global concern demanding coordinated efforts to mitigate environmental risk. Regulatory response: the Ballast Water Management Convention. In response to environmental challenges posed by uncontrolled ballast water discharge, the international community has taken steps to regulate and manage this aspect of shipping. The Ballast Water Management Convention (BWM) Convention, established by International Maritime Organization, represents a comprehensive international framework aimed at addressing the transfer of harmful aquatic organisms through ballast water. BWM Convention sets standards for treatment of ballast water and requires ships to have ballast water management plans. It establishes criteria for discharge of ballast water to minimize the risk of introducing invasive species. The convention's adoption and implementation reflect a collective commitment to mitigate the environmental impact of ballast water discharge on a global scale. Conclusion: a balancing act of sustainable shipping. In conclusion, the control and management of ships' ballast water and sediments are integral components of responsive and maritime practices. The increasing awareness of environmental consequences associated with unintentional transfer of invasive species has elevated the significance of effective ballast water management. The regulatory framework such as BWM conventions plays a crucial role in guiding the shipping industry towards sustainable practice that balances the necessities of navigation with the imperative of preserving the health and integrity of the world's ocean and waterways. As shipping continues to be cornerstone of a global trade, finding and implementing effective solutions to manage ballast water remains a key challenge for maritime community in ensuring a sustainable and ecologically responsible future. Let's move on to next question. Question 8. State the hazards which may be encountered when entering an enclosed space and precautions that should be taken. Sketch and describe an oxygen analyzer which can be used to sample the atmosphere in void or closed space. C. Instructions given to person entering the enclosed space as per ISM procedures. So simply type the question in ChatGPT and you get the answers. So what are the hazards? First hazard is lack of oxygen. Second is toxic gas and chemicals. Third is flammable atmosphere. Fourth is engulfment and entrapment. Structural hazards, biological hazard, and poor visibility, noise and vibration, temperature extremes, then emergency rescue. So these are the hazards which you may encounter while entering an enclosed space. Now all of you must be having experience of entering into enclosed space while you work on the onboard. I am sure at least one or two times you must have got chance. So you already know the procedures, what are the things you carry out, what are the checks you carry out. First of all, lack of oxygen. So oxygen level in enclosed space may be insufficient due to presence of other gases. What are the precautions we take? Gas detection equipment to measure oxygen level before entry. Always ensure that atmosphere contains at least 19.5% oxygen. Use proper respiratory protection if needed. Now, toxic gases and chemicals. Presence of toxic gas and chemicals from cargo residue, cleaning agents, and other source. What are the precautions we take? Conduct thorough risk assessment and before entry. Ventilate the space adequately before entering. Use appropriate PPE such as gas mask and chemical resistant clothing. Flammable atmosphere, accumulation of flammable gases or vapors leading to risk of fire or explosions. What are the precautions we take? Ensure proper ventilation to eliminate flammable gases. Use intrinsically safe equipments and tools. Follow work procedure if welding or cutting is necessary. Engulfment and entrapment. Presence of liquids or solids that cause drowning, entrapment, or engulfment. Wear proper personal floating devices. Secure loose materials and install barriers to prevent engulfment. use confined space entry permits, and follow established procedures. Structure issues such as corrosion, weak flooring, or unstable surface. Inspect the structural integrity of the space before entry. Use fall protection equipment if there is risk of falling. Follow proper entry and exit procedure. Then biological hazards, presence of bacteria, viruses, or other biological contaminants. Use appropriate protective clothing, including gloves and masks. Ensure vaccination and health screenings are up to date. Poor visibility, limited visibility inside enclosed space, leading to risk of disorientation and accidents. What are the precautions? Use adequate lighting and portable lamps. Ensure communication systems are in place, such as two-way radios. Noise and vibrations from machinery or equipment inside the enclosed space. Precautions: use hearing protection if noise levels are high. Inspect equipment for vibration and potential hazards. Temperature extremes. Temperature extremes inside the enclosed space are very high. Wear appropriate thermal protection clothing. Use ventilation or cooling system if necessary. Then emergency rescue. Lack of preparedness for emergency rescue in case of accident. Precautions: establish proper rescue procedures. Have a dedicated rescue team on a standby with necessary equipment. Now let's see the section C first, and then we'll go back to section B, in which you have to draw the oxygen analyzer and explain the functioning. So instruction given to person entering the enclosed space as per ISM procedure. So ISM is International Safety Management. It gives guidelines and procedures to enter the enclosed space. So the first one is risk assessment. Conduct a thorough risk assessment. Identify potential hazards associated with a specific enclosed space. Evaluate the atmosphere for oxygen levels, toxic gas, flammable substance. Consider structural integrity, temperature, and any other relevant factors. Second is entry permit. Instructions: complete and sign a confined space entry permit specifying purpose, location, and duration of entry. Designate a responsible person to monitor and entry the authorized personnel to enter. Safety equipment. Wear personal protective equipment such as helmet, gloves, safety shoes, and appropriate clothing. Use full body harness and lifeline if there is a risk of falling. Gas detection. Check oxygen levels to ensure they are within the safe limits. Test for presence of toxic gases, flammable substance. Calibrate gas detectors before use. Ventilation. Use mechanical ventilation system to ensure a safe atmosphere. Monitor ventilation effectiveness continuously during the entry. Communication. Ensure two-way radios or other communication devices are functional. Implementing communication checks before entry. Entry team composition. Form a qualified entry team. Assign roles and responsibility to learn to team members. Ensure that team members are trained in confined space entry procedures. Emergency procedures should be in place. Provide training on emergency response measures, including rescue and evacuations. Conduct regular drills to ensure readiness. Isolation of hazards. Isolates and secure potential hazards. Lock out and tag out equipment that could pose a danger during entry. Shut off and secure pipelines and systems connected to the enclosed space. Continuous monitoring. Use gas detection and other monitoring equipment throughout the operation. Evacuate the space immediately if hazards condition arise. Post entry review. Conduct a post entry review. Review the confined space entry, noting any deviations or lessons learned. Document the entry, including any issues encountered and corrective actions taken. Now, next is fixed oxygen analyzer diagram and explanation. Now, there are three types of oxygen analyzer. It is given in the MCT book, Marine Control Technology, which is written by Elston Fernandez, sir. So, here is the first oxygen analyzer, fixed oxygen analyzer, paramagnetic oxygen analysis. So I want you to just read. It is very given in a simple explanation. These are the explanation and few diagrams are given. You can read this. Now comes the second type is Beckman oxygen analyzer, principle of operation. Just read this. Then next one is Zirconia oxygen analyzer. Now read and understand whatever you feel is easy to understand. You take that and make a notes of your own in your own words. That will be easy for you to remember. See which all diagrams you can draw, which is easy for you, and you can write in the answer. So just take the screenshot of all these answers and prepare your own notes for this. Now let's move on to the last question of the question paper. Question number 9. With respect to MARPOL 73 by 78 Annex 2, noxious liquid chemicals are divided into categories. State the number of categories and what does each category signify. This question was asked in February 2023. Answer you can find in Rahul, page number 78. Part 2 answer I will give you separately. Only part A answer is given in my notes. This is a different question in February 2023. Slightly additional question they have added in this. So Rahul, it is 78 page number. If you go question same. So there are three categories in which noxious liquids can be categorized: category X, category Y. Just read what is given in X, Y, and category Z. Now there is fourth one, other category substance that fall outside category X, Y, Z and considered to present no harm to marine environment when discharged into sea. The discharge of bilge or ballast water or other residues containing these substances are not subject to any requirement of MARPOL Annex 2. So these are the categories in which noxious liquids can be divided. Now we just read this very simple only. Category X, which is very harmful, which cannot be discharged, toxics, and category Y, there is some relaxation. Category Z, there is more relaxations likewise. So now we will go to the next part of the question, which is state the requirement of procedures and arrangements manual and what information is available. The procedure and arrangement manual, also called P&A manual, is critical document on a ship, providing comprehensive guidelines on various operations aspects, safety procedures, and emergency arrangements. The requirements of the content and details of a PN manual are outlined in international regulations, primarily ISM code and IMO. Below are general requirements and types of information available in P&A manual. So, what is ISM requirements? Mandatory in nature. ISM code mandates each ship should have a safety management system that includes documented procedure covering the ship's safe operation. P&A manual is a part of SMS and contains detailed procedures and arrangements for various shipboard operations. Contents of PN manual. PN manual must include procedures for ship safety, navigation, machinery operation, cargo handling, emergency response, and other relevant operations. Information included details procedure for routine operations, maintenance tasks, and response to emergencies, along with a specific arrangement for critical scenarios. And it should be accessible to all the crew involved in ship's operations. Information included PNA manual for crew members and relevant staff, ensuring they can refer to it as needed. What IMO convention says about this? SOLAS requires ships to carry procedure and arrangement manual approved by administration, that is flag state. Manual includes detail on firefighting arrangements, life-saving appliance, emergency drills, and other safety-related procedures. MARPOL says PN manual is required to include procedures for discharge of oil, noxious liquids, and harmful substance. Details on handling, storage, and disposal of pollutants to prevent pollution incidents. Now, what are the information available? Emergency procedures, safety procedures, maintenance guidelines, communication protocols, record keeping, training and drills, environmental protection measures, risk assessment, authority and responsibility, checklist and forms. So all these points you can write in your answers. A well-structured and comprehensive PN manual is crucial for promoting a culture of safety on board and ensuring that ships operations adhere to international regulations and industry best practices. It serves as a valuable reference for the crew and contributes to effective management of maritime safety. Okay, so with this, we come to the end of the discussion for the February 2024 question paper. If you have any doubt, just let me know, and any extra things, just let me know in the comment section, or you can message me on the Instagram. Thank you very much for watching this video. All the best for your exams.